This is actually two players from Newbie. They are teammates. They played, next to each other in the recent Chinese team leagues. They both stayed in the Fauna house in Korea together as well, so they know each other quite well. So you have to right top left hand side, our red Terran player. Give it up if you're cheering on time. And the bottom right, our blue Zerg Scarlett. What's up, Shemzy? Thank you for the 1-year resub. Very, very much appreciated. How you doing, buddy? I assume you're up late. What's up, Timsh? Timsh coming in with the $5 donation, says, thanks for the good games, man. I love it. And thanks so much for coming and dropping by and checking out the stream so early on. Thank you very much for the $5 donation. So Proxy Racks here, just a single one, is going to be a Reaper. So this is something that TY did in the Home Story Cup finals against Sarah. So this is going to be seen as Reaper on the way out. Now, I'm not going to lie, I didn't actually see the Home Story Cup Grand Finals. I haven't had a chance to watch them yet. I only know that he did this because Special told me about it yesterday. So, yeah, Special told me about it yesterday, so that's kind of why I know that this is a thing. So, I don't actually know how that especially played out, really, after this Reaper opening, but I just know, I was just trying to sound clever, but I realized I was going to have to tell you guys a little bit more. Proxy Hatch response here from Scott as a bunker comes up on her natural expansion. Reaper hops up into the main base. Trying to take a little bit of damage. Lings continue to come on out, and we do see the Reaper going to get pushed back a little bit. Two Lings coming forwards, the Reaper getting pushed away there, and we're just going to be seeing the, the micro is good. Obviously, you can go down to this bunker, so the interesting thing is going to be this proxied hatchery, though. Scarlett's going to get quite a bit up from this, and there's not really anything for Time to kind of suggest that this is here. Obviously, Time looks at this game, and he's like, okay, well, I'm harassing you, I'm slowing you down a bit with this Reaper, so no wonder you don't have a third base, right? He's going to kind of block himself from seeing the obvious signs that Scarlett's actually proxying a hatch here, so that's a little bit frustrating. The Rotron dropping down, and is Time going to have any defense set up at home? I'm not quite convinced. Thank you so much, ZvT for the gifted sub out of Fuser. Welcome to WardiTV fam. Bomber and Tasia qualified for the EU qualifier. No, they qualified for the American qualifier. Yeah, thank you so much for that gifted sub as we get this set to roll. Rotron finishes up. As Reaper comes in, gets a little bit of damage done. Gonna be popping down to the low ground. Oh my god! What is that? Walgren 78! The $101 donation. Oh my god. Well, dude, I'm gonna say thank you right now, but we'll have to talk about it a bit more after this game because this is obviously about to kick off. But thank you so much as Scarlett's proxy hatch comes through. The roaches arriving, and there is just no scouting from Time for this. Time is completely blind. He's only just now seen the creep and already moving up this ramp. I mean, Depo's going down. SCVs are being pulled in to try and repair. There's two Hellions here, and that is literally about it. If this wall goes down, I mean, Scarlett's actually rebuilding into a lot of Lings from here. She never took a second gas. Okay, Time's just going to type out GG, and Scarlett is going to grab a game number 1 of this proxy hatch. Alright, let's kick this off, guys. Thank you so much for the donations, guys. The top left-hand side. Our red Terran player here down a map. We have got Time. And at the bottom right, our blue Zerg player is Scarlett. Okay, so game number 2 of this TVZ. What is the ASUS ROG? ASUS ROG is a tournament taking place in Helsinki, Finland. It's happened a lot before. We've had StarCraft tournaments there in the past. Really cool that they've come back to doing some StarCraft. So yeah, this tournament takes place August 1st through 3rd, which is obviously in just less than a month. So a few weeks time. to be able to watch this entire tournament. It's going to be really awesome. Honestly, the player lineup right now looks amazing. So, really looking forward to seeing how it plays out, actually. It should be a really awesome event. Okay, so hatch, gas, and pool. Getting started up right here as we're going to be seeing the early game on King's Cove. I mean, this should obviously be a lot more standard. Time isn't going to proxy the barracks for the Reaper or anything. I'm just going to build it at home, so probably Scarlett as well, not going to proxy hatch here. I mean, I feel like that proxy hatch was a bit of a response to the Reaper because it's actually so hard to then tell that the proxy hatch is coming down unless you scout for it, so it's a very weird situation. As you have the SCV coming down to the bottom right side. So a little bit of scouting as well. Time just playing very safe, making sure Scarlett isn't being overly aggressive with something like a pool first play. Making sure that he's going to have a response to this. So SCV does come down towards the bottom right hand side here. Let's see, a little bit of a scout as we do have the Reaper continue to come along as well. Going to move through, jumping up into the main base in a second. So going to be having a little bit of a look around to see just what is going on. Grenade drops and drones will be bobbed. Obviously at this stage where the Reaper is going to be able to pick up some decent damage on these Zerglings. We can continue to push this Reaper back as well with the Lings. Reaper going into the main is interesting because I feel like, well, I've learned a lot actually very recently. I was talking to a lot of pros at Home Story Cup, and this fight with this creep tumor on the low ground is actually very important, and usually you really kind of focus the Reaper around being able to try and deny that. So very interesting here for the Reaper to go up into the main base because it kind of allows that creep tumor to come down a lot more kind of, you know, uncontested. You know, the Reaper just isn't there to deal the damage to it when it needs to. So, yeah, obviously denying that creep tumor is really nice because you can shut off the third base from having creep to it, and, you know, slowing those, you know, slowing that down is obviously something that can go very well for you. Liberator on the way up in the main base. Again, a couple of Hellions sitting out in the front of the natural. And the 6 more Zerglings are on the way up here from Scarlett. We're going to be seeing the Queen and Ling Speed continue to come through as well. So second Queen on the way up, a few more drones coming through, and a couple more Overlords on the way out. Everything, again, very slow pace to begin with. It's going to be time with the initial aggression here with the Hellions, obviously. The Liberator in production as well. That'll come across the map soon, but good scout from Scarlett gets in and sees no tech lab on the starport, so she has a good read of what this is likely to be. Time again with that double Liberator opening. You don't usually see 2 Liberators early in the game, so this is kind of very time-specific, I feel, almost already. Picks up a creep tumor at the front. This is nice again. I mean, an active creep tumor in a position that Scarlett does want to spread that creep means it's going to be more energy committed from the Queen. If them Hellions could get over there and deny that right now, that would be really good. And he is looking for it. Yeah, really nice. Shuts down that creep tumor. Really well done. Again, that's a lot of energy that's missing on those Queens now. And it's creep that isn't going up that right-hand side of the map. So, yeah, really good job here with these Hellions so far. There's no armory with this. There wasn't the last time did this against Ragnarok either. But this time his Liberator gets deflected extremely easily. Scarlett very well positioned with the Queen in the back of the third base. So able to push that Liberator out through the bottom side of the map. And Hellions going to be able to pick up this Queen kill right there in the front. That's actually really nice as well, getting rid of a Queen already. He's made enough Hellions where he can be extremely aggressive with them to the point where he can do this as well. You know, if this was 6 Hellions, probably can't really afford to lose one, but with 8 Hellions, yeah, you know, get a Queen kill for a Hellion, absolutely, any day of the week. 6 Hellions and Reaper is what it takes to take down a creep tumor. Is also something I learned from casting with pros lately. And with the 6 Hellions and the Reaper to take down a creep tumor, you can get into a very good spot in terms of just denying creep very quickly and easily. Liberator shows up on the natural expansion now. First Liberator already went down, actually, but the Hellions find the way in. The drones aren't protected by Zerglings or anything. Gonna go for the Queen, actually. Maybe could have got another couple of drones. A grenade pops down. In the end, this is going to be a cleanup. What was killed then? 19 drones. Crazy damage dealt here by time in the earlier stages. 19 workers is actually a huge amount. Yes, loses the map control. Yes, Scarlett will be able to push creep on the map more aggressively now. But with that damage dealt, it's going to be hard for Scarlett to deal with follow-up attacks of time. And there's now time. It's going to come into the bio as well, by the way. King's Cove is a weird map for playing bio on, though, because if the momentum isn't there for you to end the game early, you will just be very hard-pressed to end, to kind of end the game until the super late stages, because the 4th and 5th bases are so close together here, it's difficult to pull the Zerg apart, and so what you need to win with is kind of one big push. That's actually very hard to do on a large map like this as well, and so you generally do see Terrans having to end up in the later stages of the game here. So while Scarlett's taking good damage, it's actually very likely that Scarlett will still be able to survive to a later point, just because, again, it's one of these maps where it is a bit more difficult to clean this up. Marines unloading here and getting ready to go on the edge of the creep. I mean, the creep, again, is something that Scarlett excels at, especially now these Hellions were gone. She just exploded the creep out onto the map. It has just gone every which direction, so time is good to, is well set to pick off a few of these creep timbers in the center. Be very surprised if Scarlett didn't have those reset in the very near future already. Just one more drones on the way up. We see a 5th and 4th hatchery from Scarlett finishing as well, so she is not afraid to just take bases here. I tell you what, time, 2 more racks right there. Is that just the 4th and 5th? Okay, it is just the 4th and 5th. I was thinking maybe he was looking to get a 6th, 7th, and 8th racks, but it's a little bit too early for that. Is already going into a tech lab factory, so going to go into drilling claws. So after the 2 tanks, this has become a very popular switch as well to get 2 tanks. He actually makes 3 tanks, but after the tank production, to actually keep this factory on the tech lab and build drilling claws, and then the second factory to get the reactor. Usually it would be that factory would swap, build, widow mines on the reactor, and then the second factory would get drilling claws and a tech lab. But things have changed around a little bit, and this also allows you, with the tech lab on the factory still, you can actually add a 4 in against these Mutalisks, so you get that 1-4 to help out, and you're going to have drilling claws with the Widow Mines, which helps out a lot as well. The Scarlet's going to come through the center to clean up this push. The Banelings going straight through towards the Marines, but the tank fire is quite serious. Muta's doing a good job cleaning up the tank in the front there, getting one of the medevacs as well. Good turnaround by Scarlett. The time didn't lose too much for nothing, right? He did trade out. A lot of Banes got used to be able to clean up this army as well. So a lot done there to be able to, again, just make this work. So 2-2 upgrades coming in for time. That's something Scarlett is moving towards as well, just missing that +2 melee. +2 armor is actually a little bit faster for time as well, so obviously didn't have the gas to start +2 attack right away. Usually you prioritize +2 attack, but maybe didn't realize and he just started armor first and, didn't quite realize that. Anyways, just going to be seeing the Muters out into the center. Hive is about halfway up from Scarlett, so about halfway done there. It's, yeah, doing pretty well. There's a few Muters trying to come in on the left. Marine's going to be able to pick off a Mutalist, though. Spine Crawler and a Spore Crawler building on this far left-hand side. The game slows down a little bit. Again, it's King's Cove. It's hard for the game to stay aggressive for the Terran. And Scarlett, it's not like she's playing a massive Mutalist. She's only got 8 or so. She is adding a couple more into play. But in general, I mean, Hive is up. She's going to move into Ultras, and we're basically already on the way towards that next stage of the game here. The next stage of this TVZ, which is just a little bit further along. So yeah, Adrenal Gland's coming up and the Hive set coming through. Getting this ready to roll as we do have the Mutalisks heading towards the top left-hand side. Lings and Banes pulling back to the bottom right as well. Marines are going to press through to find a little bit of creep spread on the front lines. Mutas coming through and going to be picking up a couple of Marines at the moment. Just a little bit of damage dealt there over on the right. I mean, again, Time is just trying to find a push through the center at the moment. Mine is going to set up, and yeah, kind of intrigued as to what this perhaps turns into. You see a Queen here picking up some damage onto that medevac as the Muta is going to fly into the main. Nice shutdown. Mind to start this off, but Scarlett's already going to start, well, starting to run into this, but decides to back away in the end. Lings and Bane's going in a couple different directions, going to go up that ramp. Good shots from the siege tank here. Wow, that Baneling is going to get picked up as well. All these Lings now going to spread themselves out, a few into the natural, a few up into the main. Meanwhile, this army from Scarlett's just pounced on the units left in the center. I feel like this run by wasn't super crazy, all said and done. The units from Time felt like they cleaned up pretty easily. The Scarlett's actually down a little bit in army supply at the moment. Probably does have to hold off for a moment here. May as well find at least a couple of kills to the top side now. Yeah, I haven't really seen much of these Mutas for a while. As Ultras will take to the field. It's that Greater Spire that's on the way. I think that's really kind of catching my eye. And that's kind of what Scarlett really wants to be heading into here shortly. I am surprised that Time doesn't really have Liberators or anything building. Feels like it's the kind of, you know, with how he was setting up against Ragnarok as well, it felt like he was very on top of moving into a fusion core, moving into Liberator range, and getting ready to go into Libs. And well, obviously that game didn't really get set up. Yeah, there we go. Liberator range now starting. I didn't see these starports in the production tab, so he is going into Libs. I just kind of thought we might see it before now, as Scarlett's going to have double Nidus Worm on the way up, so she's going to throw a Nidus in the back of the natural and the main, dropping the main shut down by the Mutalisks. That's killed very easily. I have to be very careful about those drops in the main. You don't want to have your Greater Spire snipe, for example. As Ultra is going to start pouring out, and Lings as well. This base, this Nidus is definitely not going to do so well. A couple of Banes into the mineral line. It's this Nidus, I think, that has more potential just because there isn't units already on top of it. And this is going to pull Time out of position as well, and that might actually force Scarlett a chance to hit this right-hand side, but there's units already there. And this Ultra's just fighting in this choke point, and is actually holding off a lot of bio for quite a long time, a lot longer than I thought. It's going to go down, so Niduses will be cleaned up. It's still not bad. I think Scarlett's already found value out of the Niduses. She's going to drop 2 more again. She gets a Queen out over here, but it's actually going to be that Queen that blocks this Ultra skin. Is that Ultra just blocked in anyways because of the other Nidus? It was. Oh, maybe should have stayed there. He's going to get killed off now. Another Nidus in the main getting picked off too, but it's going to keep costing so many units here from Time to be able to shut down these Niduses consistently, that Scarlett now could maybe just overrun this right side. I mean, there is not a lot of units here from the Terran player. There's like less than 20 bio units with a couple 4s and, yeah, okay, there's some Liberator support, etc. as well. Scarlett's not going to find the chance to attack in just yet, but this is also just all buying her time to go into the Greater Spire, right? So Broodlords are eventually going to be, you know, pretty much set to go for Scarlett as well. That's also going to be a huge helping hand for her. So there's 11 Corruptors continuing up here. The Infest has been added into. Obviously, the fungal growths can be a very useful addition to the army. Scarlett going to lose the Overseer, and hence will lose vision in the back of these bases, so that's going to be the end of these Niduses for the moment, at least, until she starts to send the Overlords forwards again. She'll have pneumatized carapace, of course, at this stage, so she'll be able to very easily send those through if she wants to. I was going to be seeing a bio coming in from the bottom left-hand side. A couple of Liberators getting sieged up. Again, a lot of this army here from Scarlett in the center. Some Broodlords morphing in. And again, bio pressing down to the bottom. We're going to be seeing a lot of Liberators sieging up. Infestors getting pushed back. And while the Broodlords are here, though, I mean, this is a very powerful position with all of these Liberators. How many Corruptors does Scarlett have left? 2. That's pretty painful, as we're going to be seeing the Corruptors and Mutas flying forwards here. We're going to be seeing the Widow Mines going north. I mean, it's just dealing with these Liberators, right? That's the problem. But now that the Liberators are unsieged, while the Mutas and the Corruptors can jump on top of them, the Broodlords are coming through. The Grand Army's already made its way to the rest of the army. And these Liberators are going to unsiege and try and help out. And they kill the Mutas, sure, but they're the only things that are going to survive this. And obviously, as Scarlett builds up more Corruptors, should be able to get into a bit of a better position. 2 more Ghosts on the way up here, as we do see Banes and Ultras coming into the center of the map. More Lings streaming through as well. And more Ghosts and Vikings continuing up here at the moment as this command center in the center is going to be picked up as well, so that's going to have to be lifted away. Two more Vipers, two more Infestors on the way up. So again, a couple more casters into play here. Four more Vikings in production, a few changelings heading out over to the left-hand side, and Scarlett just trying to keep an eye on what's happening. Time's going to push through the center, but it's all of this creep spread he has to push onto that is extremely terrifying. This time there's going to be more Corruptors to help fight those Liberators, but there's also Ghosts on the side of Time. Vikings in the front actually going to get a couple of Broodlord kills right away. Some snipers lining up. Here we go. If the Balins coming around, they're avoiding the Liberation zones for the moment. And there's Ultras in the Liberators, though, and they're getting absolutely deleted. And I think Time might just have enough to make this work, because there's no anti-air really left. There's 3 Corruptors. The Liberators can just unsiege, and they can fight against the Broodlords, and these Broods are going to spread to minimize damage, but a bit too late, perhaps. As now we're going to see, yes, these Liberators cleaning up all of the Broodlords, and Scarlett is going to be running out of units. Wow, this just dive bombed through the center of the map here from Time. Absolutely dead. There's just so many Liberators, and again, Scarlett never really had the Corruptor count to deal with all these Liberators. It felt like they were the issue kind of in the previous fight, and they were the issue in this fight again. That is going to be GG. That is going to be a game number 2. As we get this ready to go. To the bottom right hand side, our red Terran player. This is Time. And at the top left, our blue Zerg is Scarlett. So, some ZvT getting ready to go. What happens on Kairos Junction? Kairos is generally a very a good map for Terran, actually. Very good map for Terran. Where you just have so much potential for pushing into this third base. These rocks are very abusable. This push up here with tanks on this low ground are very abusable. There's a lot of early game presence, and obviously going into the later stages, you know, 4 or 5 bases are takeable, but you know they're abusable as well for the Terran player. It's kind of a weird set of maps here from Time and Scarlett. So we saw Acropolis Game 1 is already just weird for the Terran to let in the map pool. King's Cove Map 2 is pretty typical. But then Kairos Game 3 means a new Repugnancy was vetoed. Cyber Forest, that's a kind of probably a veto from Time. But Thunderbird getting vetoed as well. Also a little strange. As we get this set up and ready to go, Evo Chamber dropping in, getting this ready to go. We've been poking at the front, doing a little bit of damage onto a couple of those things. And +1 melee very quickly here from Scarlett. We don't usually see melee this quick in the game nowadays. Usually if you get an upgrade this quick, it's like Carapace. Helps you a lot against those marine openings, but I wonder if Scarlett has something kind of funky planned here on Kairos Junction with that fast melee upgrade. Queen coming down the left-hand side. And it's going to get some damage to the Reaper. And the third hatch will come down. So the Reaper not able to block that at all. That's actually a little bit unfortunate considering it was over here. Oh wow, a second factory from Time. So he's already going to change it up completely and go in towards a mech style. Meg obviously works pretty well here on Kairos Junction as well. 4 bases, 5 bases easily taken. You can actually have that mobility as well of the Hellion Cyclone to do a lot, but also you can then come around to the left-hand side and you can, you know, you can come in and hit bases and you can sort of split up the Cyclones as well. And it's this kind of top side, left side split that becomes very, very difficult as we see the Reaper and a couple of Hellions pushing up towards the high ground here. I'm going to start pulling back a little bit. Baneling Nest is going to finish, I think, yeah, this is like just a +1 melee all in from Scarlett. So I'm not going to lie, I don't actually know what effect the +1 melee has on this kind of Ling Bane attack. Like, obviously, I mean, it makes the Lings more powerful. I guess if it was, like, against Marines, it would really, like, kill Marines that much faster. I don't know what the effect's going to be here against Hellions and a Cyclone, though. The thing is, it feels like it's a pretty good setup for time going into the double factory already, for example. Feels like a pretty good start to being able to deal with the fact that this is going to be Ling Bane, but it's not like we're at that point of having a crazy number of Hellions already, so it's not like Scarlett wasn't expecting to go up against Hellions here, right? That's definitely something, that's a hell of a lag spike. Getting this ready to start up in a moment or two. Looks like we just going to continue this game here if one of the casters does lag out. I think that's fair enough. I was very appreciative of them restarting the game for me, but obviously, oh, here's a referee. Oh, Crank. There you go. Apparently we're all referees. Alright, so Ling Bane attack's about to get going. There's a few Hellions on the map still already. And these Banes building up. A lot more Lings set up. I think Scarlett almost wants these Hellions to move out on the map. Oh no, they're going to go to the right-hand side. Scarlett sees it coming. She tries to run the Banes away. Time sees it and pulls the Hellions back behind the wall off those. So Time now kind of knows what to do here. These Banes are going to start pressing forwards. The Reaper will go down. Oh, the Reaper should go down. Yes, there we go. Bane's going to go into the completed depots. I like that decision, but look how many Hellions there are as the Lings are going to look for the wraparound here. Well, with the +1 melee, they will get kills faster than usual, but it's just not going to work at all, man. Time just absolutely destroys this push. And Scarlett is instantly in so much trouble. She starts 3 more Queens to probably help deflect the Hellions across the map, but other than that, I mean, 22 more Lings on the way. It is not looking good right now. This is not looking good right now at all. I think just real tough at the moment. There's going to be seeing Hellions and a couple of Cyclones coming over. They're going to lock onto the Cyclones, onto the Overlord. Going to be able to pick this off, so that's going to die. Now this is, I mean, Scarlett's just dead. Like, this is just such a hard counter from Time. I mean, I think the idea is the Hellions move across the map. She snipes in with the Banes. The Lings maybe catch the Hellions off guard and surround, but it feels like such a gamble of a style. And I mean, obviously in this game it was, I think, very much so hard counted as well. Time is making a lot of Hellions, etc. Time really dealing with this very easily. Damn. Alright, well, there's a few extra Banes finish up. Scarlett is still trying to make something work here. She actually has cleaned up a few more units than I kind of expected, but the Banes don't even take down the depots at the front here. She's trying to drone up, but she's down by 12 workers. The consistent pressure of Hellion Cyclone should eventually just be able to make this work out. Just coming around the left-hand side. Time looking as though he might be able to qualify himself to ASUS ROG. Because he just needs this map, and he's in a real good position for it. Locked onto the hatchery. The Zerglings threaten to come forwards here. It scares the Cyclones away. Buys Scarlett some time. Hellions on the left as the Cyclones again locked on. They are going to be able to pick up a Queen. Another Queen going down as well. Ooh, not good play against these Lings. A lot of these Lings going down, actually. Again, it's just the Blue Flame is so good against this. So good against this. 10 more drones on the way up from Scarlett. She's desperately trying to get back into the work account while still holding up. I mean, that's the difficulty. Making enough drones while having enough units to turn around this Hellion Cyclone force. I mean, that's probably a dead Queen. Oh my god, it gets away on like 1 hit point. That's extremely fortunate. Just got out of range. Meanwhile, Time gets up into his own 3rd CC without any issue at all. 26 more Zerglings, 2 more Queens on the way out as Scan drops down, and Hellions are running their way into a mineral line. Some drones will drop. Overlord fell there, and again, it's just as consistent pressure from time. Continue to press on through. Another couple of drones going down as well. And we are going to be seeing still more Banelings pressing forwards. Hellions still turned away, but again, eventually these Hellions just get so much damage. The Cyclones lock onto Queens again. I'd like to maybe see a scan right there. A little bit of a counter-attack from Scarlett. Try and claw her way back into this. But obviously, reinforcements falling is just, you know, they stop mining on the third base. They don't really kill that many workers, right? They're easily dealt with the units that are being produced from time as well, right? It's not like there's only a couple Marines popping out. No, there's Hellions with Blue Flame and Cyclones. Damn. Just gonna see the Cyclones locking on and continue to pick away at these Queens. So the Queens continue to get picked off at the moment. Again, just gonna get rid of these Queens, and another Baneling going to go down as well. Again, the rest of these bins going to continue forwards. Hellions probably want to split away a little bit, man. Time's got to be loving his build choice in this game. I mean, there was nothing he saw to necessarily tell him what this build was right away. So having the 2 factories, etc., and the Blue Flame on the